Greetings and welcome to Tuesday's Treehouse Tidbits. I'm Scott Bunn. I'm sitting here at the Seneca Treehouse project in the garden. Well, right at the door of the Geodome. And we're going to talk about a few updates. I'm here on Instagram Live and on Zoom. And we're going to talk about a few updates and then really mainly just talk about the low maintenance garden mindset and what that takes. How to get into it. How it's the low maintenance garden mindset is dedicated to helping busy people build resilience. So, like most of you, I have a full-time job. I'm a father. I have kids to take care of. I don't have time to garden full-time, but I do want to build resilience and grow my own food. So that's why we do what we do here, low maintenance gardening. And if you can see by the landscape behind me, it might not look like your nice manicured lawn, but I might give you a little walkabout and show you what all's going on here. It just rained too, so it's nice and muggy. And there was some steam rolling off the ground a minute ago. So it's really nice. And you can see Blueberry is back there hunting for stuff as well. She's actually does more damage to the ecosystem than she does good, but we'll talk about that later. All right, so a few updates. Let's see, it's Tuesday, May 16th. And midway through May already, it's crazy. Treehouse Trade School, we've been doing a lot of grading work for clients. We have been doing we've had 2 class sessions for the Homesteading Simplified class that we launched. Last weekend, we took a week off because we went to Lake Eden Arts Festival, which is amazing. If you've never been, I would love to go with a group of people in the future. And it's just amazing, kid-friendly and adult-friendly festival. We got the lumber mill repositioned, and the rail for the lumber mill is set up. Which made more parking for our Airbnb guests. We're getting ready to have a busy Airbnb. Next 3 months are really busy, and especially June and July, pretty much fully packed out with the main house across the street. So we had to do some site cleanup, cleaned out the gutters and all that boring stuff. We just onboarded a video editing company in the Philippines. So we have one guy, Carl. He's doing 20 hours a week of video editing for us, and just started on Monday. And we're just working through the systems and working to get that all set up. So it's exciting to see what that's going to do. My goal is to be able to take videos like this and cut them down and do some work to them, and then also be able to send him stuff and have him edit it and create social content, because that really eats up a lot of my time, and I know that's also one of the best ways we can deliver. It's also good for advertising. So part-time video editing guy in the Philippines, Carl, part of our team now. And then we have Christian is in India, and he's also part of our team. He and his crew are working to develop our web presence a little bit better and create funnels and website, etc. So let's talk about this low maintenance garden mindset, shall we? Actually, one more thing. Our family, our friends in Mr. Hoots, what's up, man? Our family friends in Haiti are still trying to get out of Haiti. We're having a really hard time finding people that want to take on the responsibility of hosting a family. It's a family of 5. So I am hoping that my taxes from last year will be, I actually haven't done my taxes. So getting caught up with taxes, I'm hoping that the income that I'll have will be enough to sponsor this family myself. I've asked probably a couple dozen people, and folks just don't want to take on the responsibility. But the thing is, we're taking on the majority of the responsibility. They just have they will be liable if something happens. So it's a really challenging situation. I know we have a major immigration problem, not immigration, but really invasion problem right now. Immigration is part of what makes this country what it is. But we're having some border issues in Texas right now, more than it's been in a while. But that's different. What we're doing is bringing in a family of people that we know that are good people that want to help, actually want to learn skills so they can rebuild Haiti stronger and better. But right now, the unfortunate situation is that gangs have taken over Haiti and are killing people on the streets. And I saw some footage of what's going on, and just innocent people lying on the streets in Port-au-Prince because gangs are growing. And so Pastor Morena and his family are in danger. We're trying to get them out. And there is a program available right now where you have to have enough money financial, or your tax returns have to show 125% above the poverty line for the number of people you want to sponsor. And I have myself and one of my children that are already dependents, and then I want to sponsor 5 people. So I have to have income be for 125% above poverty line for 7 dependents, essentially. And it's crazy to think, like, I have all this wealth of stuff, the food, land, but I've technically been living at poverty line financially, which is crazy. But the good part about it is, having a business, you can write off a lot of stuff. And I really feel wealthy. I feel really wealthy. Community, tools, skills, land, food production. If things hit the fan in the world, I would be fine. Like, I own land outright. I have food growing on it. I know how to do a lot of stuff. So that's kind of like segueing into this low maintenance garden mindset thing. And that's really the whole purpose of the trade school. Everything that we're doing with Treehouse Trade School, the purpose is to help people build resilience, to learn skills, master trades, and to develop especially skills in the realm of homesteading. And homesteading is, I was just having this conversation with somebody today. They were here buying some live edge lumber. And he said, well, I'm not really a homesteader, but, I grow food, and I have fruit trees and vegetables. And I was thinking, when we say, like, if you're a carpenter, you're a carpenter. You don't have to be a master carpenter and be the best at it in order to be a carpenter, right? So if you are into homesteading, you're a homesteader. If you're growing some of your own food, consider yourself a homesteader. You're not necessarily like full out off the grid, all the way self-sufficient, but you got to start somewhere. So I define a homestead as a residence that provides for its inhabitants. And I'm only growing about 20% of my food, roughly. I could be at a lot higher than that. I'm actually growing a lot more than 20% of my food. And I say I'm growing it, but it's growing. I'm not really doing anything. In fact, I'm doing less work here than the average person does to their lawn. So see, most people have lawns and they put all this effort into, and it's a liability. We know the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset produces, a liability consumes. So when you have a lawnmower and you're mowing your lawn, unless you're going out there and like sponsoring a football game and charging tickets, it's a liability. It's not producing anything for you. Now, maybe you have kids and they like to play sports. Well, that's a value. But for most people, they just have a lawn that stays mowed, and they're constantly putting in fuel into their lawnmower and maintenance and new mower, new tires, fertilizer, weed killer, and it consumes. And the thing is, we think that we should all have lawns. It's programmed into us. It's like I remember when I was little, my parents were we had 3 acres and we mowed like probably an acre and a half of it. And I remember I was so excited when I got to start driving the lawnmower. I was like, yes, I can drive the lawnmower now. Great. I'm so excited. And my parents were like, good. Now I don't have to mow anymore. And the thing is, if you trace the history of why we have lawns, it's because either A, we had livestock, we had grass, so we had livestock to feed we had grass to feed the livestock. Or B, you had so much money that you could afford to have a lawn. See, everybody else had food forests and were hunters and had gardens, and now we've been tricked into thinking that we have to have a lawn, and it's just consuming so much. So I'm going to point to some things here just to show you kind of a little bit of what's what. But earlier I said I was growing about 20% of my food. 20%, I probably, let's see, how should I say this? I eat about 20% of my food comes from this land, but it could be 100% easily. If it'd just be up to me, I would just have to, go out here and eat more of it. And that's like, I like to go out to eat every once in a while. I like to have certain luxuries and, sliced ham and boxed pizza, and, the kids like macaroni and whatever, I like to go out to eat at a couple different places. But I could eat everything that I needed to from this property. And then with a little extra work, I could produce enough food, canning and food preservation, and then growing food through the winter, and then eating, meats and jerkies and eggs and stuff like that. I could have enough. But let me just show you. Well, first, there's 2 things that I think that make up low maintenance garden mindset. Let me say that again. There are 2 main aspects that make up the low maintenance garden mindset. One is knowledge, knowing what to plant, where to plant it, where to water it, how to mulch, what to eat, what's invasive. And the knowledge takes time. But the easier part and the place to start is changing the way you think about it. Changing the way you think about your landscape and the garden. And if you can start to see things a little differently, it automatically removes the stress. And some of you are probably like, you're crazy, I'm not going to ever be able to do that. But you think about the possibility. What if you don't do that and then you don't have anything to eat? So which would you rather have? Like thinking differently about the garden and kind of like putting a little bit of effort into changing the way you think about it, or not having anything to eat? Because when we stop spraying the lawns, spraying the weed killers, when we stop mowing all the time, what happens is those weeds are actually assets. Those weeds that we call weeds, and technically a weed is anything that is undesirable in a particular situation. So for me, the Bermuda grass is the biggest weed. I don't hate it. I don't like it in my garden. I hate it in my garden because it's like really difficult to get rid of without spraying chemically. However, it does make a really durable grass that you can walk on a lot, and a heavy traffic, and it's hard to get rid of. So, it has its area. But if you stop mowing and start growing. If you turn your yard into a garden, then things start to grow automatically that you can eat, and that are medicinal, and that are antidepressants, and that are good for inflammation, or shall I say bad for inflammation. They are anti-inflammatories, antidepressants, anti-carcinogens, and it grows naturally. But we've been tricked to think that those are weeds and we want to get rid of them. And how do we get rid of them? We go and buy products that are chemicals, that are deadly, that cause cancer, that cause inflammation, that cause depression. You see? So stop wasting your money, sit back, relax, learn about low maintenance gardening, and get healthy. So let me just point out a couple things here. There's I'm going to use, oh wait, this doesn't work for both cameras. All right, for Zoom, right here. What is it? Oh, yeah. So there's some wild lettuce. I think this is it right here. Wild lettuce. Or yeah, there for Instagram. That's wild lettuce right there. Okay. This thing over my yeah, maybe I can move the camera a little bit. That's what I got to do. Bear with me, folks. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We'll make it happen. Get the same perspective. If your cameras are in line, right there we go. Look at that. All right. So this plant right here beside my head or above my head, that's fig trees, and there's like 4 of them in a row. I go back into the forest. This whole thing back here, this whole segment behind me is a food forest. So we have figs over my right shoulder here. There's a big tree. This tree is a beech tree, and the beech nuts are edible. You could make milk with them if you want to go through all that. But what I do is just let the chickens eat them, and they turn them into eggs and meat. The squirrels also eat them too. You can hunt squirrels and use those for meat, or dog food, or cat food. Growing right behind the beech tree is fuzzy kiwi, the green fuzzy kiwis. Everybody says, I didn't know you could grow those here. Yes, you can. You can grow those here, and they're actually very prolific. And they take, hey, bud, what's up? Malcolm says hi, everyone. They take 8 years to mature, but they are these have been mature now for about 4 years, and they're getting to the point where they're producing about 100+ pounds of kiwis every year. That equates to like $600-700 worth of fruit and lots of vitamin C and deliciousness for you and your family. Here in front of the greenhouse is, oh, you can't see that on Instagram. Here in front of the greenhouse, there is boysenberries that are ripe right now. And then after the boysenberries are ripe and done, there are passion fruits and passiflora incarnata, which is an antidepressant. It's a beautiful flower, edible greens. You can make salad with it, and then the fruit are delicious. And also growing over that, not yet trellised properly, are some grapes. I'm going to trellis these grapevines to go across the greenhouse. So there'll be there's 3 food production, not including all of the other things that are growing, like the weeds that are growing under it and around it, which there's like 4 or 5 other useful things. I did a video and posted it about chopping and dropping, and I shared a bunch of stuff about the other edible and medicinal stuff. But there's 3 main crops that are growing. There's the grapes, the boysenberries, and the passion fruit. All 3 ready at different times, all 3 growing different niches in time and in space. So that's cool. Lots of wild lettuces growing right behind me. This is comfrey here, right over my left shoulder here. This is comfrey. That's a mulch crop that you can use to chop and drop. It's not only good for mulch, but it also has deep tap roots, goes down into the earth, pulls up nutrients. It's a dynamic accumulator. So bringing nutrients up from deep in the soil, you can chop it and drop it. Helps to suppress weeds. In fact, I'm getting ready to do some of that right after this. I'll probably do a little time lapse. So it helps to suppress the weeds, and then it also brings up nutrients and feeds your plants. Really good crop to have. And what else can you see here? Oh, there's a crab apple over here on the edge. Well, this is my primary vegetable garden right behind me. So that's a big thing of the low maintenance gardening, is putting your highest maintenance vegetables right next to your house. So I can, my door is like right here. So I can stand at my door and look out and see the entire garden. And last year was cool too, because there was a tomato hornworm that was eating my tomatoes. And I was like, oh, those tomato hornworms. And then this bird came in. It's like 2 or 3 birds just came in and annihilated like all of the tomato hornworms. And it was like this, something out of like an alien movie or something. There's just like green hornworm goo flying everywhere, and the birds are just happen at it, and problem solved, because it's all about developing an ecosystem. So people are like, what do you do about the birds? Well, you feed the birds, bring more birds in. There's some trees. I don't know if you can quite see it from here. Ooh, way back, way up there. One of the tallest trees there is a black cherry, and they grow tall, they grow fast, they've got great wood, good wood for burning, good wood for milling, and they also produce a little cherry seed, and you can eat it. The seeds have some cyanide in them, so you don't want to like eat tons and tons and tons of them, but you can eat some of them. And the birds, though, come in. And so this was an accident. I learned this through time. I accidentally knocked that cherry tree down, completely down to the ground. I cut it off at the stump. I didn't think it was going to come back. Well, it came back and it shot up quickly, and it shot up above all the fruit trees that I planted. And what I noticed was that the birds were coming in and eating those cherries off of the cherry tree, and they were not bothering my blueberries or some of the other things that were ripe. So they were being fed with the cherry tree. So not only was it attracting the birds away from some of my other fruit, it also, when the birds land in that tree, they're dropping manure. So they're fertilizing my other trees. So the birds come in, they eat the cherries, they leave the blueberries alone or eat less of them, and then leave nutrients for the garden. So passive fertilization, pest deterrent. And it's overstory tree, which is great. It helps to shade, cast a little bit of shade. So there's a lot of stuff like that. There's in the class that we do, the low maintenance garden mindset class. So this class is available online. However, we're getting ready to redo it, and we'll be improving upon it quite a bit. But we're actually, this Thursday, we're starting the first segment of the class of the low maintenance garden mindset. It's actually part of the homesteading class. So this homesteading class is several other smaller classes all rolled into one. We're getting ready to start the segment, and things to consider at the low maintenance garden mindset: watering, your soil, building soil, nutrient, which is included in soil, but composting is part of building soil. And then we have weeds, pests, and diseases, what to do about all that. We're talking about some low maintenance crops to select, some of which I've just named here. There are things you want to stay away from, especially, depending on your region. And then what is the other segment is what to do with the harvest. Easy ways of preserving food, preserving what you get. And it can really be gardening can be extremely stressful if you're not in the low maintenance garden mindset. And that's what I care about, is helping people remove the stress, grow more food, provide for your family. So I will conclude the Tuesday Treehouse Tidbits with that. I've been going for 25 minutes, 10 minutes longer than I'm supposed to, but man, I get so excited when I start talking about gardening. It is just, it's just one of the things that, like, I could talk for days about stuff that's just growing here, and I geek out about it. And I'm just like, I'm just beginning. There's so much to know. There's like an endless rabbit hole of knowledge and things to know when it comes to plants and plant medicine and gardening and systems. So hope that helps. Hope you guys are getting into some gardening, building resilience, because things ain't looking so good in some parts of the world. But keep your head up, stay focused on the good stuff, stay positive. I just saw Michael J. Fox. I'm going to quote Michael J. Fox. He said, "Optimism is sustainable with gratitude." So don't let yourself get, cynical, I think. Don't let yourself get down. Just stay focused, stay optimistic, and just get out there and do one thing at a time. And let me know how I can help you. Love you guys, and hope to see you on the next update. And also, if you're interested in taking the Homesteading Simplified class, we'll have another one that is, I think we're going to launch it probably now in June, sometime in June. So we'll have a live class in June, and then we'll have the online class available too. All right, that's it. Have a great week. See y'all soon.